Good morning. Today I want to talk to you about Joseph, and I want to talk to you about our own image of who we are. We have an identity, and we live by what we believe that identity is. And Joseph had a lot of different possible identities. He was a dreamer. To his brothers, he was an annoying twerp. He was a hated sibling. He was a victim of their bullying. He was a slave. He was a servant after he was a slave, and he became the master of the servants. He happened to be a heartthrob. The Bible doesn't describe any other man in the same terms as they describe him. He was a hunk, and he was a handsome hunk. He could have been a movie star today. Because of that, he became a victim of false accusations. And because of that, he became a prisoner. But eventually, he became the prison master. Then he was a prophet. But for 2 years after he made that prophecy, he was forgotten and forsaken. You know, he could have gotten absorbed in every bit of these circumstances, but he didn't. After 2 years, he again became a prophet, this time to the Pharaoh. And by then he was 30 years old, and he was promoted to the most powerful position in Egypt. And as far as we know, he held that until his death at the age of 110. So he held that position for 80 years. And that would be a lifetime accomplishment that a lot of people would pin their identity on. But the Lord showed him that he was the savior of his family. But despite all that, he focused on one thing. He focused on a promise from God that was made to Abraham. This was when God first told Abraham that he was going to be the father of nations. He told Abraham that he would be, his people would be oppressed for 400 years. And Joseph somehow understood that this oppression would start with their being in Egypt. So despite all that he had, all his accomplishments, all these circumstances that were not good, the identity that Joseph held was the heir of God's promise, and his eyes were laser focused on God's provision for him. His last words when he was dying, "When God comes to you, you will carry my bones up from Egypt." He knew God was going to come, and he knew that his people would be taken out of there. He's in Hebrews, he's remembered as the father of the faith. By faith, Joseph, when he was dying, made mention of the exodus of the sons of Israel and gave orders concerning his bones. Whatever circumstances you're going through right now, you have promises from God, and those promises are your identity, not the circumstances you're in. So bless you all. You're awesome people. God has promised you these many, many things, and you will inherit them. You will overcome. You will prosper.